Nick! 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 You're gonna be fine, buddy! You're gonna be fine! I got you!
Nick! Nick, you're gonna be all right! I need you right now! Drew's down! Ugh. Nick, hope you've experienced these! Here, take him! Nick, I need you squared away right now! We have to move, it's gonna get dark! Come on!
Night vision can be so complicated, but using it is actually pretty simple. Today we're going to give you the top 10 things you need to know about night vision and how to use it. Josh, take it away.
First and foremost, we're going to talk about retention. The last thing you want is to have your nods hit the deck or be lost in the woods between wherever it is that you're moving. So when you first put your night vision on your helmet, we're going to make sure that we know where our breakaway features are on our Rhino mount or our G24. It's nice to know the status of that. Beyond that though, we're going to ensure that our retention systems, whether they're bungee cords or Velcro patches, slap-on retention systems, are locked and secured so as to keep our night vision on our helmet even if our mounting systems do fail.
Just like wearing boots for the first time, you're going to want to break in your helmet. When you first put on a helmet with nods, you're going to notice that you're going to get some neck fatigue and maybe even some headaches because you're not used to the weight. Yeah, it's not that much, but your head isn't used to it. So one of the first things we like to do is try and find hot spots. That means turning it inside out, looking at the inside of it, trying to figure out, hey, is there a spot where I need to add a pad or remove a pad so that the weight of the helmet is evenly dispersed on my dome and it feels great. You're also going to want to make sure that your helmet is balanced appropriately. Once you put on some heavy night vision on the front of it, it's going to want to tip forward. You can counteract that with a counterbalance. That's just some weights or some sandbags, little mini sandbags that you can put in the back or even an external battery charger. Make sure that thing sits on your head good.
Once you have that helmet mounted on your head and it's nice and comfortable, we need to ensure that our tubes or singular tube are mounted in the appropriate location. So we do not want our night vision to obstruct our full vision. I want to have a distance between my eye and my tube so that I can lift my head and see under them. Or if I'm running just a PVS 14, I can turn my head to the left or to the right and see out of either eye. I don't want to be sucked into whatever field of view my night vision offers. With that in mind, I want to run my nods at the upper 1/3 on my eyes. I want to see fully through my night vision. That being said, I want ease of being able to lift my head and look under the nods as well.
Josh, do the next one too.
Next, we're going to be talking about the G24 or whatever mounting system it is that's hosting the night vision to your helmet to your eyeball. Before you ever put your nods on, or even if you're out in the field, take some time to learn how those adjustments work. We know what it is that we're looking for seeing through our night vision, but how do we get there? If I want to be able to tilt my nods up, pull them further away from me, shift left or right, there's different ways that we can get that on different styles of mounts. And for example, on these G24s, there's a lot of buttons and knobs and throw levers. Take some time in the daylight to figure out how to make those adjustments so that when you're doing it in the dark without being able to see your mount, you can do it without even thinking about it.
Unlike in video games, where if you put on night vision, you can't see everything clearly. You have to choose where your focus is, whether it's far, close, or anything in between. That's why you're going to want to know how to adjust the dials, specifically the ocular and the objective. The ocular is the one closest to your eye. This one is for any sort of vision impairment that you may have to compensate for it. And the objective is the one furthest from your eye, and that is to really set exactly where your focus is going to be. By default, what most people do is they set the focus to infinity, which is they look up at the stars and they adjust their objective tube to make those stars nice and crisp. And then they can always scale back from there to see things a little bit closer.
Oops, 1 second. Actually, while you guys are here, I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is a great way to keep you and your family prepared in case the need arises for whatever reason may happen, tornadoes, hurricanes, ice storms, or worse. A little insight on them, they have their emergency food kits have a 25-year shelf life. They're a great way to get a bunch of calories as well per meal. I think it's like 2,000 something calories or more per meal, something crazy like that. And the food's actually pretty good too. If you want to head over to preparewithdc.com and save you guys a little bit of money to stash away or to put towards other things you may need, check those guys out. Again, that's preparewithdc.com. Let me get this back up for you guys.
So as Drew mentioned, we do have to actually set the focus on our night vision. Typically, like he mentioned, most people zero for the stars, but what if you're actually looking for something in your backpack? Looking at your friend and trying to diagnose something on his gear, or solving a malfunction on your rifle and you need to actually get eyes on it. A solution is these 100 concepts or focus caps. These change the amount of light that actually passes into your night vision and thus adjusts your focus distance. So by simply closing some of these settings, you can physically change how much light comes through your night vision and see at a closer distance. And on top of that, another huge benefit are the fact that some of these have sacrificial lenses. So if you're gonna go to a milsim event or you're driving around, maybe dirt biking, and you're worried about gravel or rocks or sand getting into your nods, because they have a sacrificial lens, it is one more level of security for your night vision.
If you're going to be wearing night vision, you're probably going to be shooting with night vision at some point, which means you're going to want to have your rifle set up in the optimal fashion. You're going to want to memorize how to manipulate everything on your rifle whenever you can't see it at all. One of the best things that you can do is to set up your white light, your IR laser, and your IR flood all within a thumb's reach, so you're not having to hunt and peck around to find the right activation button. And in your free time, practice and dry fire your reloads in the dark. Once the lights go out, doing all this becomes significantly more difficult, so get those reps in.
Before you actually step out with your night vision, you're going to want to make sure that all of your equipment from plate carrier to rifle to pistol is squared away for night vision use. For example, if I am running a 100 concepts light cover, I want to know the status of this. Is it closed or open? I want practice being able to open or close it depending on what I'm doing. Maybe you are using a vampire light that can swap between IR and white light. What is the status of this, and is it ready to go and be deployed the way that I want it to be? On top of that, what is the brightness setting of my red dots? Am I shooting with passive or active aiming on my rifle? Take some time to figure out what works best for you, and then when you go out in the dark, know those settings and what to turn all of your equipment to before you step off.
Contrary to popular belief, whenever you put on night vision, you do not become invisible. I know you feel like a sneaky squirrel, I know you feel like a tier 1 operator, I know you feel like a ninja, but just because you can see in the dark and no one else can, doesn't mean there's not other lighting conditions around you that give away your location. So one of the things that we like to practice a lot is, when we're wearing night vision, to be aware of the lighting around us and behind us, because it can just as easily give away our position as in the daytime. You're also going to want to be familiar with the settings of your night vision. You're going to want to know, is it manual gain or auto gain? For example, if a car headlight starts pointing directly at you and you have manual gain, you're going to want to turn that sucker down to kind of level out what you can see. If you're a cool kid and you have auto gain, you don't have to worry about it. Well, there's a time and a place for manual gain. Like, there really is. Like, sometimes if you have manual gain, even if all the lighting conditions are nice, you got some nice moonlight and stuff, you can turn that gain down a little bit and actually see contrast a little bit better. It can sometimes help in the woods.
If there's shadows and there's varying different light sources, I can go up or down and see past or through different light settings. I can turn it up and see into the darkness quite a bit better past like a street light or something. So there's a time and a place for it.
It also helps with preserving your natural night vision.
All right, when you actually go to store your night vision, you want to make sure that your battery is fully removed. You don't want any energy source in there. Many pieces of night vision have been damaged because a battery was still in, they were accidentally turned on, they went into your safe, and the next thing you knew, you got, can you hold this? Touch me. You got a streak in your tube, which is the worst thing ever. So we want to always remove our battery, always use lithium batteries. I'm gonna put it into a case, close it so that it is removed from as much light source as possible, safe and squared away. With that in mind, guys, make sure you're getting out there, you're actually using your night vision, getting reps. If you don't have nods, dry firing or even shooting in the dark with your white light is a huge step towards becoming proficient with night vision. Any closing thoughts?
The ATF usually doesn't have night vision.